Creatives and strategists are very familiar with the tradition of trend reports every new year. But at the end of the day, how do you use them? How can you and your team pair this knowledge with your upcoming projects and, most importantly, your brand's positioning and strategy in the long run? Hi there, I'm Felippe and together with me is Raff. We are the founders of MOWE, the creative studio bring ideas to life through animations and motion graphics made with purpose. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button if you want to stay on top of more strategic insights around animation. We know trends change faster and faster these days, but still many professionals and teams try to keep up with them to stay relevant. The problem is that projects guided solely by the newest trend may lose relevancy and touch with the audience as soon as the trends end. So why would you still check those viral visual representation techniques if they have a short expiration date? Following them without consideration may not be the best strategic move, but they surely can give lots of great inspiration if we just know how to deal with them wisely.
There are many ways for a trend to be born, but overall it's from the spark of creativity from an artist, mixed with the technology evolution that happened in the latest years. And the reason why I say that is that it's important for us to look beyond the trend, beyond the visual, the look and feel, and also think about how we are able to do that, because it allows us to understand not only how technology is evolving, but also how you can leverage some of those new tools to create new trends and to incorporating into our work, but also understand where, like, and how the creative industry that we work can evolve in the next years. Like, if you try to do a lot of those things 10 years ago, they would either take way too much time, it would be impossible, or they just would look back. So if we're able to do this nowadays, it means that the technology has evolved, and we should use this to understand what's next.
But it's important to a brand to not just, of course, be on top of technology, it's important, but to understand what is their signature style per se. For example, like as a brand, it's important to understand how they can use the trends, but without losing the personality. A brand that is just moved from trends to trends, it's a brand that is not strong enough, and it's hard to be recognizable when you're just following what the next trend is. However, there are ways that you can understand what's going on in the creative industry, in the animation industry, and see, the most important is how you can see your brand fitting in this space. For example, when we had like this huge boom of 2D animation that later the next year would shift to 3D animation be the trend. A lot of brands tried to implement 3D, which wasn't something part of their personality or part of the style they were pursuing. Just to the next year, they see like 2D coming back. So, just going back and forward, just following trends can be detrimental to a brand. So that's why it's important to understand what is your signature style, like what are the things that define your brand. So when a trend comes and you want to jump on it, you want to follow it, you can make sure to own this space and make it more your own thing than just look like you're pursuing what's hot instead of pursuing what's unique and true to your personality.
And it's natural for brands to evolve. Like, times change, the audience changes, and you need to keep evolving your brand. And I think that it's important also to know to state that animation is such a strong tool in terms of video content because of how easily it can be customizable. So if you, let's say, like, you have a lot of elements that you have been using throughout your campaign for your brand, and you want to keep using them, but now you have developed a new look that might be or might not be so attached to a specific trend, but like something different. It's always possible to customize everything that you have to have this new look and to like use those for new videos. But also, let's say like you have a recent campaign and you decided to do a rebranding, and that campaign has been running for like a month. And you think that is important to kind of go back and maybe customize this to also look like the other new campaigns that you are doing. And going back, like if the animation is ready and you just need to adapt some of the visuals, it's way easier than other types of media that you need to start everything from zero.
And what I think is also interesting about like the animation part of a brand being flexible is all being flexible in terms of if you change the logo, if you change the colors, it's a huge thing. You know, it's a big impact. It's going to influence on many factors in the business, many sectors in the business as well. You may need to adapt a lot of stuff, communicate a lot of stuff. But with animation, like even a brand material, a commercial, entertainment video, for example, you have more freedom to try, experiment stuff instead of just like change the whole brand to follow the trends. And when you're working with an animation team, a creative team to help you like develop your creative assets or animations, the best team is the one that is not just imposing the trends in your strategy, in your campaigns, but actually understanding what's going on in the field, the creative field, what consumers are actually interested in consuming, and understand and they understand how to adapt your visuals or how to bring in your specific point, your signature there to the new trend or new format. So the best teams, they are really good into incorporating this instead of just forcing you to follow this path as, okay, so this is what we're gonna go because this is the trend, this is what everyone's consuming. No, it's actually the opposite. It's how we can get this that everyone is consuming and make it like honest and true to what a brand is.
Following trends per se is not bad. The important thing here is understanding how and when to ride a wave. It's basic. If you follow the trend as everybody else is doing, you just look like everybody else. So it's important that you understand a trend and also understand how you can adapt this to make it your own. Now, the difficulty is understanding when to ride the wave. If you jump too early, you might be jumping on the wrong wave. You might be jumping on something that it just kind of comes slightly and just goes and nobody cares about it. That might not become too big. And also, if you jump too early, you might be doing something that your audience might not be prepared, and you might have some backlash. It's survivable. And also, the other option is that you can ride a wave too late. And the problem is that you'll be riding the wave, you'll be changing your brand, you'll be adapting, like you'll be doing a lot of different things for your brand that might not convert a lot. Like you might be already doing something that everybody is doing, so you might not have any uniqueness in your attempt to ride that wave. The right timing is usually when you notice a trend, because if your brain can recognize a pattern, like if you see things many times and you think, oh, I have seen this already, it means that it's already becoming a trend. It's already becoming something that a lot of people are doing, and your brain saw it so many times that it was able to connect with previous versions of that same trend, and you might be spotting something new that is coming up. After notice a wave, it's important to understand how you want to transition into that wave. Obviously, as smooth as possible is the recommendation, because it allows you to get a few elements and try them with your brand and incorporate them one by one, kind of evolving your brand so your audience won't feel such a drastic change. And also it allows you to understand how you can know a trend, because if you incorporate a few elements here and there, you'll be able to understand how they communicate and how they work with your existing brand. So it gives you time to develop something of your own. At the end of the day, there is no recipe to understanding the right time to jump to a new wave. It all comes down to situational awareness. It's understanding how the technology is evolving, understanding what artists are doing inside and outside your industry. It's also understanding how the audiences around the world are responding to content that is being produced. This awareness about the world around us, it's what allows us to spot new trends, understanding when it seems to be the right time. And after you do this for a while, you get the hang of it, and it just becomes easier and easier the next times. If you are curious about what we are expecting to be trending in the near future, you can check our other video on trends here in our YouTube channel. And to close this topic, I do have a question for you. What are the challenges that you and your team face when adopting new trends? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to follow us and turn on the notifications for more insights and tips on animation strategy. See you in the next video.